All right. Welcome everyone to Fire Up Connect. And what? So I think we have total of 6 people. That's good. And this is a couple of you. It's your first time, so we're gonna go ahead and start. So Fire Up Connect is our weekly meeting every Tuesday at 3 o'clock p.m. And you were invited here by me or by someone else in the group. Very excited about today's meeting because we have an amazing presenter. His name is Damian Sanders. He's here and he will be talking about his business called Life Exec. But the first part of our meeting is we actually introduce ourselves by asking a question to anyone in the group that has not, been asked by someone else. And then you have a minute to answer the question, okay? So this is to help us get to know each other and really establish that business relationship. Okay, so feel comfortable and just you can ask any questions. If you don't know them, ask them the basic questions, so whatever works. Okay, so we'll start with that. I'm gonna go ahead and ask Scott to be the first one to ask the question, and please, if you can be on a video, that would be amazing so they can see you. Again, this is about establishing.
I am on the video.
I know I'm talking about the other people too.
Oh, got
it. Just make sure that you guys are all on videos.
And everybody.
Yes, everybody. And so we're trying to establish the relationship and also building the trust within each other so they can help each other. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start with Scott. Scott, who do you want to ask?
I'm going to ask Jessica.
All right. Go ahead.
Unmute, Jessica. There we go. Hey, what would motivate you to move from California to the cold, wintry East Coast?
What would motivate me? Evolving in my life. Actually, the honest answer is my well-being was more important than the palm trees. So, yeah, my well-being. My motivation.
Are you closer to family?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know I have a minute, so I feel home. San Diego and the East Coast, both coasts are home to me for different reasons, but this time around was essential for me to keep evolving and growing. So but at the same time, sometimes you need to go back home to some roots for how you need to close some gaps and what's the word? Let things integrate. So that's what I'm doing. I traded the palm trees and ocean for oak trees and a river that runs through the town.
Cool. Awesome. Right. I just always curious.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for
Scott.
asking.
Now, Jessica, your turn. Who do you want to ask question?
I want to ask Damian what your favorite animal is and why.
Shark, because they never stop moving.
Wait, what was it?
A shark.
A shark. Oh.
He's somewhat of a shark.
You're right. I guess they never stop moving. I
watched them sleep one time on Shark Week, actually. And the way that it was done, at least for this species, was they would go out in the center of the ocean and basically just start sinking straight down, nose down, all the way in. And they would do it for in a very, very long time. And it was how their body would just kind of start resting and re-energize themselves. And then they'd get out of it and head back up to the surface.
Like this? Like
straight, yep, nose down.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Wow.
So but if again,
they were like still moving.
Diving in life. It's actually
exactly.
I love that. Thanks for sharing.
Indeed.
All right. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Damian. Damian, your turn.
Scott, Lifestyle Eating, is that a book or what do you got going on behind you there?
My wife just finished writing that book.
My wife's name as well.
Melissa.
Not Currey, but
Um, it's the culmination of 28 years in teaching healthy cooking, proper food preparation, cooked the correct way, not to destroy the nutrition in the food. And she's done keto, vegan, vegetarian, you name it. She's been through it. And so it's a compilation of methodologies and strategies, and each person is unique. So there's no one way that fits anything. And when we talk to somebody, so in the book, you'd customize your lifestyle to how you eat.
sure. That's very cool.
Okay.
I will be looking it up.
All right. So since we had Scott earlier ask questions, so I'm going to go ahead and move to Eddie. Actually, Eddie, I'm going to have to ask you a question. Okay, let me figure this out. What is your target market for your business?
So that really varies, but it really, it's anybody who has risk, so if you want to make money, that's one thing. If you want to make sales, that's another thing, but it's really the people who have risk. And it's ultimately, it's the people that own debt, and that's really the secondary lenders. But getting to banks is a big hurdle. So right now, or maybe somebody less fish, easier to close.
Okay.
And does that make sense?
Yes.
And we're pivoting this week. We're gonna give away free trial. So anybody start playing with the technology. That's probably our biggest change.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Eddie. So you have Justin and Jamie that you can ask a question.
Justin, tell me about your biggest accomplishment, biggest success or biggest failure this week or last month, or tell me about yourself. Three options.
Okay, go ahead and ask me that again.
Your biggest accomplishment, your biggest failure this week or over in the last year, or tell me about yourself. How's that?
Hello, I'm back. Kind of lost you there for a moment. What was your question?
Okay, somebody else ask it. I'm tired. I'm three times I get up.
No, he's asking what was your go ahead, Eddie, because he's having a trouble with his reception.
Your favorite, your biggest accomplishment or your biggest challenge this week or the last year, or tell me about yourself. So he's having real issues. So I don't know.
Did you get it, Justin?
You can't use cell phone.
Yeah, I think it's
Type it in the chat. Type it in the chat.
You're in a mute. You're in a mute right now. We couldn't hear you, Justin. Yeah, he's
okay. I do hear his question, but I'm having a lot of trouble with connection today.
Okay. All right. So how about this? Eddie, why don't you ask Jamie?
Jamie, where are you? I got to put him on full screen. I'll get gallery.
There's
Gallery.
Jamie.
There you go.
There's Jamie. I don't do I know Jamie? I don't know if I know Jamie. So tell me about yourself and tell me about yourself. How about that?
I'm let's say a part-time right at the moment. I got a full-time job surveying, but I'm another part-time thing is real estate investing. Right now we're doing some fix and flips, and then eventually get into some rental stuff. But at the moment, we're on the fix and flips. We actually hopefully get to sign tomorrow, or actually Thursday. We got to sign on a off-market deal, the first off-market deal that we've gotten. So that should be a great win on that one. So it's kind of about a little bit about me.
Okay. So now let's see if Justin can still answer a question. Do you want to ask anyone in the group, Jamie?
So,
Yeah. Did you want to ask any questions to anyone in the group?
oh, sorry, it was a call come through. Yeah, no, I'm good, I guess, for right now.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So that was the first part, and I wanted to just let everyone know because you guys do not really know each other. So since I've invited all of you, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a little bit of information. So Justin Westmoreland is actually in a transition, and he's gonna be going into a solar business. So that's something that he's working on right now. Jamie Meyer is he is he's doing some fix and flips. So I've connected to him through LinkedIn. And Eddie provides actually amazing data for people like Jamie. So that's actually a very good connection. So, okay. So just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of that information. Okay. So the next part of our meeting is to have our presenter, Damian Sanders, and do a presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you access to do your share screen. So
Great.
you're ready to go, Damian, if you want to go ahead and start.
Always ready to talk about this stuff. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm with a company called Life Exec, and the short version of things is that it's a safe place to store all of life's important information. But I'm actually going to take you on and show you my account briefly and how I use it. But regardless of industry, regardless of what stage in life you're in, this is a very, very powerful tool. I always think that the backstory of how Life Exec came to be is important, and so I'll share that very quickly. Our two founders have worked together now in the enterprise security software world for almost 20 years, and over the course of their first 15 years together, working together, they created the software within the hotel industry that allowed you to go in and do your banking and Facebook and email on those business center computers. And then when you headed to your room, they were completely scrubbed, and the next person couldn't see anything you were looking at on that computer. They sold that piece of software about 4 years ago, and Life Exec came to be just out of life necessity. One of the owners has aging parents, where he knew he was going to end up being their executor, and wanted to make sure all of the particulars were in a safe place, but also somewhere he could get to it very easily. And the other fellow was actually in a climbing incident where he had summited Mount Rainier out near us here in Washington. And they had gotten to the top, and they were on their way back down, and a horrible storm came through, pinned them down in 80-mile-an-hour winds for a couple days on that mountain. And as the family man that he is, his mind started going to his wife and daughter. There were things that were left unsaid should he not make it off that mountain. There were different insurance policies and documents and things like that as head of household, he had handled them, and his wife didn't have proper access to them. And so that's where Life Exec comes in as that safe place to store everything. What sets us apart is we've received 3 different U.S. patents along the way that allow for communication of that information. So the very first image I'll give you is if I'm headed home after this meeting today and get into a severe enough automobile accident where I'm, headed to the hospital in bad shape and unresponsive, my wife and 3 sisters have the ability to launch my medical emergency plan on my behalf. And so in that moment, everything has stayed private up until then, but in that moment, they gain access to my, copies of identification, my medical insurance card. I've even included my medical history in here. So in that moment, if I'm not at my home hospital where all the notes live, the doctors that are trying to treat me have the ability to see my blood type and pre-existing conditions, allergies, medications I'm on, and all those different things. allowing them to go to work on putting me back together as quick as they can. Now, I've also included different things with regard to the vehicles that we own. Should something need to be towed from the scene or whatever the case is. Passwords, I think you all agree, have become a big part of life. And this ability to share those things is going to solve a lot of issues down the road. One of the things we discovered is that in the next 5 years, there's going to be more people on Facebook who have passed away than there will be live users for that exact reason. People just don't think about sharing that sort of thing. And it's certainly important. But I've included different things as well regarding, banking info, things like that, to make sure my bills can move forward while I'm healing up. Now, on an entirely separate communication, I've also done a business continuance. So I'm at the office quite a bit, as you can see here. So it's not impossible that I be with one of these people when that accident happens. And so because they're a contact within the system, they're able to notify the system that something has happened to me, then allowing my wife and sisters to push this thing live. But I've included enough information for them to get me checked into the hospital and make sure that the medical history is passed on, things like that. I've also included enough info here with regard to work passwords and such to make sure my desk can move forward in my absence while I'm healing up. This really came to light for one of our owners about 4 years ago, where one of his good friends is one of the largest home builders here in the Northwest, and his CFO had gotten into a motorcycle accident and was actually in a coma for 3 months. And in that amount of time, he ended up spending almost $100,000 to get himself back into his own financial world within the company, because that gentleman had all the keys to the kingdom. And so very important to share passwords in those sorts of moments. Now, most people say, okay, that's a ton of information. How did it get there? And how did you know how to put it there? So we've kind of condensed the thought of life event planning down into a series of guides. Any one of these guides is going to take you about 15 or 20 minutes to go through and populate the different pieces that we're recommending be included into these different areas. And while that's happening, everything's being populated here in vaults. We already talked about passwords being important to share, but I just like having them in my pocket at all times. I click the eyeball and I'm not having to reset anything. It exposes it for me, and I can access that account without having to go through that process should I forget something. At the end of the day, though, this was designed to be a document repository, and I think you'll agree we took it quite a few steps beyond that. But this is where copies of identification, insurance paperwork, things like that are going to end up. Life insurance, investments, different items like that are going to be stored here, completely private. And even the big ticket items, wills, trusts, things of that nature, will be stored here. Now, for some of those bigger ticket items, it's simply, regardless of how I can explain our security, a lot of people just aren't going to be comfortable storing that level of documentation in this account. And so to one of our patents to address that is document not present. So if this is Damian's will, and I decided I did not want an image on here, I'm going to be able to basically leave a roadmap for my loved ones to get to that item when I'm no longer around to answer those questions. So I would simply have the attorney who created it, telephone number on how to reach them, and there's a copy of that document in my safe at home, as well as that attorney's office. So all I've done, again, is create that roadmap so that my loved ones can get to that item when the time comes. One of the other things we discovered while creating this is 1 in 3 life insurance policies right now goes unclaimed simply because the surviving family members either didn't know it existed or didn't know how to access it. And so trying to address those sorts of things is definitely a mission within the system we created. Now, something basic like my AAA card, I've got enough information here where if that wallet's lost or stolen, I can get a hold of them, let them know my policy number, and when the driver shows up, I do have a front and back image of that card, all accessible through my phone. So really, can get you out of some sticky situations, certainly. Now, assets is another big piece of this. with everything that we've gone through as a country this year, whether that's the wildfires we dealt with out west, or the snow events that happened in Texas and made so many issues, the flooding and hurricanes and everything that's gone on, having a proper accounting of your assets is very important. So I've got everything in here from vehicles to wife's ring, but then I've also gone room by room as well. Not only given it a value, but then have stored images as well as video in each of them. So now if something happens, fire, flood, theft, whatever it may be, it's a heck of a lot easier to get myself back to whole again with that level of documentation. So very, very important piece there. Contacts. This isn't social media, we're not after hundreds of names here, but this should be someone's immediate circle of family and friends, as well as their professional circle, insurance agent, attorney, financial planner, even CPA and medical doctor. And the reason for that is while someone's going through this and trying to gather everything up that we're recommending be put in here, we created this section called requests. And so very simply, say I want 5 years of my tax returns, I'm going to throw a little bit of information in here, go into my contacts, grab my CPA, and when I hit send, he'll receive a communication via email with a secure link to upload, say those 5 years of tax returns directly into my account, saving me that time of tracking it all down and digging through filing cabinets and whatever it may be. I know everybody's got their own filing methods. And so we tried to really streamline that as best we could. That was certainly a high level overview, but the system itself, as I mentioned, does carry 3 separate patents to it. We rolled out just at the beginning of last year to insurance and financial professionals, as well as real estate, mortgage, truly anyone who's taking care of their clients out there. This is a really neat addition and value add to just kind of complete that circle with whatever they're helping them with, and prepare them for that rainy day. I know I get a little excited and went a bit fast there, but I think if I'm not mistaken, we do have a 7-minute time limit there. So love to open up to you guys, and if you have any questions for me, I can backtrack a little bit and show you some of the pieces I might have gone too fast on. But that's Life Exec. It's basically a Life Exec, or I'm sorry, a life event planning tool that, as I mentioned, been awarded a few different U.S. patents and is the only thing out there like it. Anything you might come across that's similar is an end of life planning tool. Whereas I think you'll agree that we turn this into an entire life planning tool. Questions?
Oh man. I immediately wanted to comment because something like this would have been so helpful when my dad passed away, because it was unexpected and we couldn't even get access. We had to use credit cards to pay for the funeral because we couldn't access his bank account.
Exactly.
Life insurance, whatever policy was out there, like there were so many things that having something like this would have been so helpful, not just for end of life care, but I also have a healthcare background, so immediately I'm like, oh my God, like I'm seeing the domino effect of how the fact that this exists can streamline so much stress of the part of the essential worker job of documenting things is so stressful, because they just put all this pressure on you to document so many red tape things by certain times. But if someone's not communicative or something, or they're in a coma or they're dying, or it's just like, I remember those days of feeling so stressed because I couldn't fulfill the other part of the forms. So just like a personal input.
Sure.
This is incredible to see the functionality of it. It doesn't feel like, it almost feels like LastPass, except a little more like, but not.
Right. Yeah.
Like it opens it up to be like a inclusive thing to collaborate with other people, because LastPass is very like, no one's
It's your account and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and we do have a number of communication features where you can share items and different different things that you have stored with loved ones. So like my sisters always have access to my Netflix account and different little things like that where they don't have to text me anymore, you know, so you can really use it a lot of fun ways.
Okay. Any other questions? Scott, Eddie, Jamie?
How much is it?
So right now it retails at $14.99 a month. The reason for that is we just partnered with a legal document company as well. And so within each account, you'll be able to build kind of the 5 prime documents, will, powers of attorney, things like that. But because you're on the call, the presentation now with Marie, we can get that clear down to $7.99 a month if it is something of interest. I'd even do a free trial just so you can kick the tires a little bit too and really see what it's about before you start paying for it.
There you
Wow.
go. Got a good deal.
I can't believe that.
Eddie,
Wow.
you have any questions? You have to unmute.
Okay, well, I Googled you got a good system. I'm trying to figure out, let's say if I'm gonna live for another, 40 years, I'm not dying tomorrow. So, and what's the pros and cons of using your system versus Dropbox? And that's what I don't want to be negative, but I'm just trying to understand that.
Absolutely. Dropbox is something that's become very popular. The difference is if you give someone access to your Dropbox to share something in that account, they have the ability to manipulate those documents and change those documents. If I share something within my account with a loved one, all they have is read-only capability. They cannot do anything to modify that document.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Okay.
Indeed.
Jamie, Justin, you guys have any questions? You can also chat, put your questions if you having bad reception.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So for now, let's go ahead and give your feedback on chat for Damian and how you think he did good, or what you think about his presentation. So go ahead, take your time to send him a chat.
I must have nailed it.
Well, I thank you so much, Damian, for doing this presentation. Again, it's always good to educate people.
I love talking about this thing.
Yeah, and I'm very much aware of the value of your services to people. And I think, if it's very good to organize what you already have in life, that you can pass it on to your kids without them worrying about accessing it if something happens to you. And that's actually very good. You're protecting and benefiting your family and your relatives to be able to take care of everything when you're gone. So I think that's a good, information for people. Okay, well, I truly appreciate, Damian, your offer to this group, because again, there is amazing value for the members of Fire Up Connect. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next part of our meeting, which is sharing your either one of the 3 things: success story, your challenges in the business, or your specific goal. So take this opportunity to really let people know what you need from each other. Again, these people that we have right now in the meeting are very resourceful. They're very well connected. You have no idea how much power and influence they have within their own industry. So take this opportunity to really, share your information. But you do have 1 minute time frame because, people can only retain so much information. So you want to be direct to the point. Make sure that you are very, you articulate well in sharing your information, so they understand how they can help you and how they can, support your business. Okay, so we're going to start with Jamie. Jamie, are you available to start?
Yep, I'm available.
Okay, go ahead.
So I got into real estate investing here March of last year, just a little over, right at a year, a little over a year. we, like you said before, we're into fix and flips. Eventually get into rentals. We had a big win here. About just over a month ago, we sold our first flip as a company. I've done one myself personally, and so, like you said, we're moving forward. We want to. The goal is to. I'd like to do 5 to 10 this year. Like you said, the market's tough right now, as in buying. But like I said, we just landed this off-market deal that hopefully we'll be closing here Thursday. She's got some renters in there, so but we won't technically get in there until June 1st. But actually, it'll be a contract. We'll be under contract as of Thursday, hopefully. So that's basically kind of what I got going.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jamie. All right. Let's move on to Scott.
Hi there, everybody. As the people that have been on before know, we just launched our virtual version of our company. Now, who would think that virtual cooking demonstrations and virtual programs would be what people want? Well, I would have never thought that, but they're working really well. We're looking for people that are recovering from a bad lifestyle, recovering from cancer, stroke, diabetes, 1 and 2. Obviously, 1 is a permanent situation. 2 can be reversed by proper eating. My wife is certified by several organizations to teach both cancer and diabetes prevention, and same conversation if you're recovering from those as well. So also families that are too busy to eat well and have kids and stop at fast food and other forms of what people call food on the way home from whatever they're going to as an excuse, I'm too busy. So we have a way to work with those kinds of people to have them have good, healthy food and be able to treat their family to food that actually nurtures them instead of passes on bad stuff, right? So that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, thank you, Scott. All right, Jessica.
My success is someone I've been fostering a relationship with for a little while. We finally found a way we can start the process, and I'm excited about it. It's layering right in beautifully with some other things I'm developing with her, and we should be starting soon. That's really vague, but it's a huge win, because when you foster the right relationships, it's not about quantity, it's about quality, and it makes everything a lot easier. You get to do what you love, and it doesn't feel like a job.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica. Okay, let's move on to Damian.
On a personal level, outside of business, is that what you're asking me? Sorry.
It can be business. I mean, it's business or personal. It's up to you. It's either your success story, your any challenges that you have right now, or any specific goal that you want some support and help from everybody.
I'll do them both at the same time. So my wife and I got married 2 years ago, March 3rd. And right before we got married, we decided we were going to move to Bend, which is where I'm sitting right now. And that was right before Christmas. Got married in March. Then decided, okay, house is sold, let's go. My father's health took a turn. And he ended up passing that following August. Which slowed down the process, but it was just incredible to be there for some of those, final moments and spend time with him, with other pieces of the family, and very, very cool. Once it was time to move to Bend, I grew up in the family landscape business, and so I was actually looking at going back into either heavy equipment operation or landscaping or something to that effect, and get myself out of the sales world. And stumbled across Life Exec on Craigslist and became their first employee here in Bend, and haven't looked back since. We've just partnered with some major players within the insurance world, but also recently became we're going to be an employee benefit for 380,000 police officers as well, to help address the situations they go through on a daily basis. So hopefully I covered enough of those bases there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Damien. All right, Eddie, you're next.
Next. Well, you answered my questions. How can you make money at $7 an hour? So now I figured it out. Or $7 a service. Because so my big one, last week, my biggest thing was, do I want to go after the big fish or small? And after having this banker giving wishy-washy and stuff, we're going to pivot and we're going to change to a free trial. We're going to give our API and part of our data away for free. For Justin, for example, when I used to be an investor, if to buy in 40 properties, which one you buy, which one do you hold, which one you sell. And then if you ask a realtor, they'll always tell you the answer, gets them commissions, but data really gives the right answer. So we're a data aggregator, so they can give the right answers to those questions. And I think if we do it right, we're going to finally democratize this data, which is really my passion, what drives me, makes me wake up in the morning.
All right, thank you. I know Justin is still having trouble with, so he's just trying to enjoy the meeting. This is his first time, but he's listening to everyone. And if you guys wanted to connect with Justin, make sure that you go ahead and exchange your information on chat, provide your contact information to everybody so you guys can connect. Now, after sharing your success story, your challenges, and specific goals, any comment from everyone who can give some feedback, any kind of comments from what you heard. Again, this is part of where you pay attention to what everybody is saying. It's not just about sharing your information, it's also being attentive to other people's goals and challenges. And that makes it very effective for you to work together or to at least, connect in some level of business. So make sure that you really listen to what they're saying. So any comments? I want to give like at least 5 minutes about this part.
I'll contribute. As I was listening to Scott, immediately I was thinking about shared experiences, which is what us meeting today is it's a shared experience. But as someone who also likes to cook and maybe working on setting up a stream around it, actually, with streaming while I'm making things and connecting, what I'm seeing is there are unconventional ways to create shared experiences that build rapport a lot faster through something we can all relate with, like what Scott is doing with his wife with these shared cooking experiences. And I just wanted to throw it out there that there may be avenues that might not immediately seem like it's going to lead to income or lead to a direct goal. But when you're building relationships and focused on value add that way, it can open up a lot more. You're relating as human to human, and it's going to open up a lot more for you than just like a pitch thing. So Scott, I just wanted to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing and how you found a way to pivot, because that's actually a perfect platform that a lot of people are relating to. Like people are paying to go to virtual dinners with people and okay, not just classes, but like quality time with influencers and whatever. So
Okay.
all
right. Thank you, Jessica. Okay, anyone else? Comments from other people's Scott, go ahead.
Thank you, Jessica. What I found, I'm one of the older people here. I think Eddie and I are probably about the same age. I'm older than I look. I'm going to be 63 next month. And what I've found is if your focus is to make a contribution to people, money follows service. So if you're willing to, whatever you're doing, just be of service. Don't think about it that it's to make money. Just be of service to humanity, be of service to your family, to your friends, to everyone around you, to your utmost ability, and money flows to service. And it's simply that way.
Awesome. Anyone else? No. one thing that I wanted to make sure that you also can utilize while we're in Zoom, do you see the reaction down at the bottom? You can actually use that if you wanted to gives a thumbs up, or do a clap, or put a heart, or do a raise hand. I wanted to start utilizing that because I've been into other meetings where they were very structured and they were able to put the, raise hand if they want to speak. So that will be actually pretty good for you to start utilizing that. Okay. So no more comments. So what I would like to do now is to figure out how we can all work together. So you guys have put in your information, right? Um, so make sure that everybody has a contact information in there, that and then you can save the chat later. So what I would like for you to really think about is that since we have this many people in this group right now, what can you create, or can you come up with an idea on how you can work with some of these people? So like, for example, I'm just going to call, let's say Jamie. Okay. Jamie is someone that does fix and flip. So for someone like Damian, do you see yourself working with Jamie, and how, and why?
My wife and I have actually talked about doing that same sort of thing, and it would be marvelous to not have to carry the hammer around myself. So, just from that standpoint, she's in the property management world, and so having rentals at some point is certainly in our future. But having the time to, like he's doing, and going in there and swinging the hammers is not something it's not a luxury I currently have, and so there's no reason that we couldn't strike up a partnership there.
Okay. Jamie, what did you
Yeah.
think
So,
about that?
well, to add to his now. So, like, right example, like I'm right now in the process of looking for a private money lender. So, like, just like you example, you don't want to swing a hammer, but you could be part of a deal by investing 50,000, pay you percent on that, and like you said, you're part of the deal, but you're not swinging a hammer.
Cool.
Okay. Now, so Jamie, if we're looking at Scott, which is in the food industry, you being in the real estate and him in the food industry, how do you see any way that you can work with Scott, and how and why?
That's a good question too. Yeah, I suppose like we could like set up some kind of a donation thing or something, like something like that. I guess I could see.
Okay. All right. That's a good idea. Now, Scott, how do you see yourself working with, let's say, Eddie?
Well, Eddie's been asking me a lot of questions, so I know that he has some stuff he's working on. So I'd be more than glad to serve him personally. But anyone here, we're always available to network, whether it's Jessica, Justin, Eddie, Jamie, Maria, or Damian. We can offer it as an add-on to whatever else you're doing. And we have Tuesday night events where, as long as it's contribution focused, regarding something around health, we bring on speakers that talk about that, and then we cook as well. So we have a education and cooking format Tuesdays from 6 to 7:15. So we could work it out where we could have someone who could do something like that come on. That'd be something that's possible. Or we could also be available to make a video for your people as something that would be an add-on gift. And we'd be more than glad to do like a 30-minute intro to what we do, and we'd actually dive into their health if they wanted it. Sometimes people are not as committed as you would think they need to be to take care of the stuff they got to take care of. They're like, whoa, I don't know about that. Back off.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
People are kind of full of crap sometimes when it comes to their health. So
Yes.
we'd be more than glad to offer a 30-minute intro, and somehow we could make a contribution.
Yeah, I mean, Scott has 9,000 people in their database. So think about it. There's definitely a lot of real estate professionals in there, and even, people that you're targeting. So make sure that take a look at that idea. That's actually a pretty good idea. All right, so Eddie, what about you with Jessica?
Oh, wait a minute. So I wanted to do my cheers to Scott. I now live off frozen blueberries, no ice cream.
That's good.
It's $70, 70 calories for a half a cup. What the hell? So I'm living off that stuff. It's my new candy. So I messaged Maria. I didn't know because Jessica, we could scale. One of the ways the new technology scales fast is with partnerships. So I didn't know if I was going to email you and set up. I don't know if it's in your wheelhouse, because if we could partner with a broker, they make money, we make money. Even if we to get our first foot in the door to large banks, or that's really it's because selling one-to-one is really, I'm sort of dispassionate about selling one-to-one. So I didn't know if because everybody thinks we're Me Too thing, we don't correlate with Me Too or a Me Too product. So I don't know if we should set up a meeting, or what are your thoughts? I mean, do you work in real estate technology? Because biz dev is a big thing. So
Jessica.
Well, it is an umbrella term. I need to understand and see a little bit more about what you're offering with your, it's a SaaS product, right?
It's a SaaS product. It's a subscription product, but it can be, because we have unique data that realtors don't have access to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just, I'm a natural connector, so I'm immediately thinking of like different industries where that could be a natural fit, or at least make an intro. And if it opens a door from there, awesome. I'm not necessarily like in the tech space, but I'm just kind of like getting to be that go-to person. Oh, Jessica would probably know this. Ask Jessica, she probably knows someone somewhere in some community, because I'm just like constantly building community and building connections. So if I don't know, I may know someone else who does. So feel free to email me more details so I can take a look, and we can go from there.
All right.
Super.
And I've known Jessica to where she's very resourceful, and she's connected to a lot of real estate professionals. So definitely connect with her. And then, okay, so let's see, Justin, I know you're like in and out here. I hope that you learned something from this meeting, and hopefully that you can come back again and figure out how you can participate in our meetings, okay? All right, so we are 10 minutes before. I want to get feedback on what you think about this meeting. Jamie, since this is your first time, what do you think about our meeting today?
I like it. Like I said, your network. Well, like I said, your net worth is your net worth. What is that saying? Net worth is your network.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I'm always open to looking to network with people, because, like you said, not like Jessica said, there's always somebody out there that might know. If you don't know it, somebody that does know it. So, like I said, that's the key thing to moving forward and being successful, I think, is just networking with so many people out there, and that's key.
Okay, and you're working on a current project right now, right?
I will. Well, not at the moment. We signed, like you said, on Thursday, but we don't get in there until June. But like I said, in the meantime, we're still looking for another project. Like I said, I'd like to get 5 to 10 done this year. So.
Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, and anyone else comment about today's meeting?
I did drop, it might need to scroll back just a little bit, but the link that I dropped in there that says lifeexec.mykajabi.com, that's actually something I haven't even talked about yet. It's an education series that goes through all of that stuff we should have learned in school, but they thought algebra was more important. So it's, anything from learning how to maintain and keep a home safe if you're moving out of your folks' place for the first time on down the line to having a baby and going on a vacation, buying that first house like we've been talking about. And then I also included the promo code. So it's in two pieces. There's the education series as well as then the Life Exec account. And that promo code will take it down to that $7.99 rather than the $14.99. So just wanted to point that out. It was starting to get buried. I didn't want it to get missed there.
And your feedback about the meeting, Damian?
I absolutely loved it. I wish I had, more time in my weeks to be more regular on it. But always valuable. This is my second one now, first time presenting, but always fun to kind of see, who's on it and what they've got going on.
All right, sounds good. Anyone else who wants to give feedback? Scott, Jessica, Eddie?
Of all the 40 properties I bought, probably 7 of them were all from connections, and I probably made over 200,000 just from networking, from flipping houses. So keep networking is all I could say.
Awesome. Scott?
Yep, networking is, I've networked my whole life, and I was always a face-to-face person. I really didn't want to have to deal with the internet. So talk about a pivot. Now I'm forced to. I like it. I'm high touch, low tech. So I can do this stuff. I just have to force myself. And now I'm actually learning to like it. So
awesome.
we can all network. We just have to find a way to do it. I'm more than glad to talk to anybody about any way we can do that. Just contact me on the information I've left.
All right, Jessica.
I really loved how we found some commonality with what we can all relate about, and it just helps with our rapport and trust, so that when we follow up, it just feels like it's a little bit more of substance. So I loved learning about Damian's shark. And it was a silly question, but intentional, because it's not always, it's the like peripheral things that actually help people feel grounded and more comfortable in a space like this. So that's why I asked it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
I grew up, my dad was a salesman, and so he got sent around quite a bit to open up new offices. And so I went to 6 different grade schools growing up, and I was always a new kid. So it's pretty tough to stump me, I guess.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I love that.
Well, I thank you, all of you, because, I truly believe in this format. I have so many connections, but I value the time that I spend with people, because I really can see, a lot of things, just by communicating very well, effectively. And because of that, I find so many treasures through the communication. So even though we are a small group, the fact that I learned so much from each one of you, and how we can work together more and how we can help each other, that is really the magical part of this networking group. Knowing Jamie is in real estate, and Scott is in the food industry, Eddie is in the data technology, and Damian is in the business of, keeping all the documents for anyone, actually is such a great thing to learn and figure out how we can all work together. And Jessica is so well connected. I mean, I've known her for several years already, and I've seen how powerfully she can bring someone into your business with such large connection, just because of the way she connects with these people. So, think about that. That's a special skill that, someone has. And if you're able to tap into her resources, I mean, that's incredible asset. Just being in this call is huge for your business. So you're looking at it as, okay, you're looking at her and listening to her, but once you connect with her, you have no idea how much money she can bring into your business because of the connection. So just think about that. Now, Justin, thank you so much for being here. I know you had trouble in and out, but hopefully you can give me feedback later. and we can I can give you more information about what's going on in this meeting. Okay, so this is recorded. Other members are going to be watching this. We do have the members are getting connected to different programs like a radio show, TV show, magazine. We have a magazine that's coming out soon. I'm excited about that. So if you guys wanted to be a part of that, it's not too late to be a part of it because it's so incredible. We're going to be promoting it for a year to 2 years. Where do you find a magazine that you promote that for that long? So take advantage of it. Connect with me. If you know anyone else who wants to be a part of the magazine, let me know, and I will make sure that I provide you the information. Okay. Okay. So don't forget to save your chat before you leave, and we will see you next week. And I believe, let me see if I have a scheduled speaker for next week. Let's see. Not yet. I don't have one. So I'm going to figure that out and I'll send you guys the information. Okay.
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
Have a
Yep.
great afternoon and keep networking.
You bet. See you guys.
All right. Bye.
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 Thank you, everybody. See ya.